all love a story that ends with the protagonist riding off into the sunset, but sadly, that can't always be the case. Some of the best games, in fact, end in devastating fashion, with either their protagonist, their entire cast of characters, or even their entire world significantly worse off than they had been in the beginning. And as hard as it is to experience these endings on that first playthrough, there's no denying that those that are executed well do end up making quite a big impact. Here we're going to talk about a few such sad video game endings that will stay with us for some time to come. Note, there are spoilers ahead for every game in this feature. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Let's go!
Give me a sec.
Come on! Push, Arthur!
Thank you.
Arthur!
Red Dead Redemption's ending was already a shocking one, but its sequel somehow ended up topping it. Serving as a prequel and featuring a character that had never been mentioned in RDR1 as a protagonist, Red Dead 2 was obviously always going to go poorly for its main characters, but the way Rockstar pulled it off somehow managed to leave us stunned nonetheless. Arthur Morgan is built up throughout the whole game as an amazing character, probably one of the greatest video game characters of all time, so seeing him meet his cruel, untimely demise is a hard pill to swallow. Yes, technically that isn't the ending, and you do spend a healthy chunk of time playing as John Marston in the lengthy epilogue, but we all know how that ends as well. And it ain't pretty. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons was Joseph Fares' directorial debut in the gaming space, and what a debut it was. Not perfect, no, but as those who have played it will tell you, it's well worth experiencing, especially for its ending. The entire game, as the name suggests, is about the relationship of two brothers who set out on a harrowing quest to recover some mystical water with which to save the life of their dying father. And yes, they succeed in doing so, but at great cost. With their journey claiming the life of the older brother, Neaya, it's an absolutely devastating ending, and one that sticks around in memory long after you're done with the game. That dragon, Cancer. If you want your games to be lighthearted and fun, that dragon, Cancer, is not for you, but then that isn't the point of it. It's an autobiographical game that tells the story of parents who have to watch their young son battle cancer, before sadly losing that fight at the slight age of 4. It's utterly depressing from start to finish, but it's also incredibly powerful. Being able to experience the unequivocal intimacy of this 2-hour journey is a surreal experience, and one that anyone who's played it is unlikely to ever forget. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, just like its predecessor, has the quintessential bittersweet ending, and in so many ways. Ori defeats Shriek, a terrifying owl that has cast a shadow over so much and so many, but watching the orphaned creature die under the wings of her dead parents, it's hard not to feel a twinge of sadness. Meanwhile, even though the forest is restored and Ku is healed and reunited with Naru and Gumo, Ori ends up dying, merging with Seer and turning into the Spirit Tree. It's a real tearjerker to say the very least. Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots.
Only need one snake.
Hideo Kojima was not kind to Solid Snake, was he? Throughout the series, Snake is manipulated by the Patriots every step of the way, and the consequences are disastrous. They all rear their heads in MGS4, where even despite the defeat of the Patriots and the world being freed from their oppressive control, the ending is far from a happy one for Solid Snake. Having wasted his entire life as a soldier fighting a wasteful war and being used as a pawn by a cavalcade of master manipulators, when it all comes to an end, Snake barely has a handful of years of life left thanks to his rapidly accelerating aging. Hardly a just ending for the man. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. People don't usually associate The Legend of Zelda as a series with storytelling, but one of the hardest-hitting twists in video games history comes from a 2D black-and-white handheld Zelda title. Link's Awakening is pretty light on story as a whole, but it does an excellent job of making its setting, Koholint Island, come to life. You get to know the island, and you get to know and even grow fond of many of its denizens, only to realize, at the end, that the entire thing is a dream, dreamed by the Windfish. Link wakes up to find himself in the real world again, but the game makes you watch as Koholint and its people slowly fade out of existence. It's hard to watch, to say the least. Gears 5. An unlikely entry in a feature such as this one, sure, but not an undeserving one. Gears 5 tries a lot of things that are new for the Gears of War franchise, and one of them is story choices. Well, there's just one, but it's a big one. With Kate being forced to choose between JD and Del at the end, one of them dies, one of them lives. On some level, the choice is an easy one. Del is a much better person. He's much easier to root for, and JD is a guy that many actively dislike. But then again, he's Marcus Phoenix's son, and if we let him die, we're responsible for his major personal loss. So, would you rather let the lovable Del die, or would you rather be responsible for the death of a fiercely beloved character's son? Not an enviable choice, simply put.
Hey.
Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2. Yeah, of course our mind instantly went to the first season of Telltale's The Walking Dead, but we and countless others have gone on and on and on about how painful that game's ending is, so here we'd rather throw the spotlight on the second season, because even though its ending isn't nearly as devastating as that of its predecessor, it's still pretty damn tragic. No matter how it ends, it's a mess for everyone involved, regardless of whether Kenny lives or dies. Whether Jane lives or dies, whether Clementine decides to stick around with the survivor or abandon them. It's far from a happy ending. No, it's not nearly as sad as Lee's death, but it's no picnic either. The Last of Us Part 2.
No. I'm not gonna fight you. Yes, you will.
The Last of Us Part 2 is a brooding, depressing experience from start to finish, with hardly even a single moment of true levity. Its ending, however, really drives that home. The game goes out of its way to show how single-minded Ellie has become in her obsession with killing Abby and avenging Joel. In the end, she realizes that it's just not worth it and decides not to go through with it, but by that time, it's already too late. She's lost her fingers, she's lost Joel, her relationship with Tommy is a mess, such a lust for revenge. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima's final choice is ingeniously torturous. There is no right answer. Lord Sakai has been a father to Jen in all but name his entire life. But will he abide by his wishes and kill him to spare him from a life of dishonor? Or will he decide to ignore his wishes and not strike down a man he has always loved and looked up to? No matter what you as Jen decide to do, when you're done, it's hard to shake the feeling that maybe you made the wrong choice. And with that, we reached the end of the video. Have anything to say? Let us know in the comments below. Also, we upload new videos every single day on GamingBolt, so please consider subscribing as it really helps us out. Thanks for watching.